we are back at Hollywood Smoke in the city of Santa Monica. Welcome to 10 Count. I'm Steve Kim. I'm joined by Michael Montero of Montero Unboxing and the editor of Ring Magazine, Doug Fischer. And guys, February 17th, set your VCRs. There is an overload of boxing. Let's go down the lineup here. It's Showtime from the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. Danny Garcia takes on Brandon Rios. And for the WBC Super Middleweight title, a rematch. David Benavidez takes on Ronnie Gavril. And then the World Boxing Super Series semifinals in the Super Middleweight division. George Groves takes on Chris Eubank Jr. Then Fox has a show between Devon Alexander and Victor Ortiz.
Wow. A bevy of boxing, Steve.
Yeah, it's a bevy, as I like to say, but those PBC fights, and they've had a pretty decent schedule coming up on Showtime. These two fights we're mentioning now, they need a hot tub time machine, do they not?
Yeah, they would have been way more significant maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's being kind.
I could go farther back.
I was going to say, you could go back a few more years.
You know what? They've been around for a while, haven't they?
It's more of 6 or 7. You think about it. When Devon Alexander was the guy, it was in 2011, and I was there at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, which was one of the most interesting trips of my life, being a boxing scribe. And rest in peace to Emmanuel Stewart. You salvaged that whole trip. That was in 2011.
Wow.
So the question is, Mike, can he chop down the tree, Victor Ortiz?
Is Ortiz still a tree? Is he still a tree, bro?
Yeah, just hanging around. He's not leaving.
Hanging around, yeah. I can't really get excited for that fight on Fox, but, you know, I will give Alexander this much credit. He's had some substance abuse issues. He's gotten his life back on track, went through rehab. Good for him. Back in the ring. I favor him just because I just see more levels to him, period, and more skill than Ortiz. Ortiz is a tree, but you know, you can box circles around a tree. But the fight I'm excited about is Groves and Eubank. That is a great matchup, and that's the fight I'm going to be watching
live. Big event, sold out in 8 minutes.
That was at Manchester Arena. Yeah, and that's a great. If you guys ever get a chance to witness a prize fight in Manchester,
it's on the bucket
list. It is special.
Absolutely.
No, I'm serious. Like, it's overwhelming almost. So I expect this. That is the scene where George Groves almost upset Carl Froch for the IBF Super Middleweight. Yeah, dropped him early in the first round, had him hurt, and was ahead on points, and it was a controversial stoppage, which was good for his career in that it set up this lucrative rematch that did like what 80,000 people, you know, at Wembley. But it also maybe there's just psychologically maybe he's never been the same.
Never been the same.
It's strange because there are times when I look at Groves and he looks really special to me, like a special athlete and a special boxer and really smart and dangerous. And it never lasts. And I've always noticed in all of his championship fights, there is that inevitable fade in the later rounds. And I think that's a real dangerous thing against Eubank, who has got a good engine, very reliable chin, and some heavy hands.
I'm a believer in Eubank. I know that his last fight he was supposed to wipe out the guy. But again, sometimes the eye test. It's the way you do things that really, and I think Eubank really is a hardworking guy. He's a quirky character. The apple didn't fall far from that tree.
Yeah, but he got a lot of talent.
But I think he's got talent and he's honing it. This is his fight to win.
Well,
I really
let me ask you, is this the best opponent of his career? Because since the loss to Billy Joe Saunders, which was what, 2014? I think it was a close.
You almost throw that out nowadays. You throw that out.
Right. Who has he fought since then? He hasn't.
Listen, he's fought some solid guys. But the best names on his record, one of the Chudinoff brothers, aged Arthur Abraham, they were tailor-made because they were either stand in front of you type guys, or he would just blast them with that monster uppercut, and he was faster and could just outmaneuver them, or they were come forward guys, and he loves that, just like his old man.
And you know what?
He doesn't. I don't think he will look as formidable against somebody who employs a stick and move strategy, and I do believe Groves can do that.
Yeah, and if Groves wins the fight, guess what? He's back. Now he's probably one of the biggest names in the UK.
Yes.
And whatever, listen, will he ever be as big as, let's say, if Howard Foster didn't botch that first fight? and let's say he wins that first fight against Froch, probably not. But if he beats Eubank, all of a sudden, a lot of stuff is erased. Like the loss to Badu Jack. People aren't going to care about that.
That's true.
Now, guys, Brandon Rios, I know we could beat the Aaron Herreras of the world in Lancaster, California.
Yeah.
Can he beat a Danny Garcia in 2018? Because the last time we saw him on the world-class stage, Tim Bradley, who's not exactly Tommy Hearns, stopped him. That's alarming.
That was a bad place in his life.
Yes,
you know,
it was.
I don't think he was seeing eye to eye with Robert Garcia
at the time. He was very, very frustrated.
Yeah, and I think he was frustrated with his promotional situation. I think he was frustrated with his activity. Now, a lot of this comes back on him. He chose to eat like a pig and to blow up in weight.
Yeah.
He didn't do himself any favors by walking around so heavy and then boiling down to 147 pounds where Tim Bradley chewed him up. But I do think he's in a better place now. When I see interviews with him, he actually seems mature. Like he's finally appears to have grown up, and it's taken some time. He's been reunited with Robert Garcia, and he reports that he's pleased with the new situation, and meaning he feels that Robert is giving him the quality time, the attention that he believes he deserves. Having said that, I think the best that he can do is make this fight fun.
For a few rounds.
Right. Yeah. But give us a bam-bam performance, which is entertaining. But, I think Danny Garcia is still in his prime. I think he's the more versatile fighter. He's very strong. He's got a great set of whiskers. He's got a lot of heart.
And he has underrated counterpunching ability on the inside.
He's a good ring general.
I see a hook. He has a nice hook, an underrated hook. I see a counter hook hurting Rios. As the mind matures, the body matures as well. But as the body matures, it doesn't take a licking like it used to, right? And Rios has been in some tough fights, and I actually see him getting stopped in this fight by a left hook on the inside.
Yeah, it seems to me that Danny Garcia's not the most committed guy. He only fought once last year after the loss to Keith Thurman. But again, time and place, trajectory of career, I think favors Danny Garcia. And guys, does Ronnie Gavril do anything more? I thought he made it fairly close. I do think Benavidez legitimately won the fight. Yeah. But at Benavidez, I have to tell you, I was high on Benavidez coming into that fight. I wasn't quite as high. This is his chance to kind of say, wait a minute, what happened the first time was an anomaly.
We need to take into account the age of Benavidez.
Very young.
And we need to take into account the amateur experience that he had. And it was very limited. And I'm talking about less than 20 fights. So again, we have one of these situations where somebody was learning on the job. Obviously, he's talented. Obviously, he's huge for this weight class. He will definitely mature into a big, strong, light heavyweight. But right now, is he a top 3 super middleweight? I would not. And he's got more ability and upside than maybe somebody like Ramirez, Zurdo Ramirez. But if they were to fight this year, I would pick Zurdo just because of his maturity, just because of his experience. Having said that, I think those 12 rounds that Benavidez went with Gavril in the first fight, it helped him mature. He learned something. I think he's going to improve on that performance.
I totally agree. And really, let's be honest, he's a prospect with a title now.
You're right.
And that's the modern state, that's the world of boxing we live in right now. But if you look at a lot of prospects who become champions, good champions, there's that one fight that they learned on the job in, and they grew up. And I think we're going to see that here. Those 12 rounds, Doug, I think it was a big learning experience. I think he's going to win big in this rematch and show us something.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think Gavril can do any better, and I get the sense the upside is with Benavidez. All right, well, that's it for this segment of the 10 Count. On behalf of Doug Fischer and Michael Montero, this is Steve Kim saying till the next round, goodbye, everybody.